This is Lucien Smith in for Paul Gallo here on the Gallo Radio Show on SuperTalk, Mississippi. We're coming to you live from the Trustmark Bank studio. Life's beautiful when your bank fits you to a T. Trustmark, people you trust, advice that works. To learn more, go to trustmark.com, member FDIC. Well, here with us is Nathan Oakley, the Deputy Director for K-12 and Innovation with Accelerate Mississippi. Good morning, Nathan.
Morning, Lucien. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a great Thursday morning. Springtime weather is in the air.
It's nice, isn't it? In Mississippi, I feel like you get this kind of 2 or 3 week window where it's pleasant to be outside the whole day, and we're in that window right now.
I was actually talking to a friend last night. I said if we could bottle, and we talked about a 2 week window, bottle that 2 weeks and just kind of spread it out throughout the year, it'd be absolutely glorious.
It'd be perfect. But you got to take advantage of it right now because probably 2 weeks from now you're gonna need the air conditioner on full blast and the whole bit. So now's the time to enjoy it.
Or we could have an ice storm.
That's exactly right. I think I was wearing a sweater. I've worn a sweater in the last week, which for mid-April is
Tell him never to say those two words together.
Morning, Perez.
Morning,
so Nathan, tell us a little bit for folks who don't know what Accelerate Mississippi does, what y'all's focus is.
Accelerate Mississippi is the Office of Workforce Development. We came into existence in the 2020 session, and our focus is around galvanizing pathways for Mississippians through the education pathways that lead to good jobs, that lead to employment here in the state.
And that's the goal. What's your focus there?
My focus in that space is really in the K-12 sector. There's a lot of workforce offices in different states, similarly positioned organizations in different states that do this work. But Accelerate has taken a different approach. Ryan Miller, our executive director, when this was conceptualized, wanted to bring together a team of folks that look not just at workforce through this post-secondary to employment or training into employment lens, but really looking at workforce as a holistic experience. Workforce development happens from early childhood education and the experiences those students have in the classroom as they move through elementary and middle school and start to have more deliberate conversations about careers and job opportunities that exist, and then ultimately helping them to navigate the education options they have that align with the jobs that exist that they might be interested in.
And this is that exclusively through the career coaching program that you've got, or are there a lot of different vehicles?
So there's a lot of different ways that happens within the K-12 system. I spent a long time with the Department of Education here in the state, and so the department does have some pieces in place for districts where they are doing individual student success plans, where they're having conversations with students about what options are available course-wise. And there's career tech programming that happens through the K-12 system, metal trades programs or construction programs, healthcare programs that are available to students that are coming through our schools in the state. But we wanted to take a more comprehensive and deliberate kind of student-focused one-on-one approach to that conversation. And so that has happened over the last year through the career coaching model that we've deployed.
And how do those work? I mean, how does that sort of the day-to-day operation there?
So the day-to-day operation is an individual or groups of there's coaches in different pockets of the state, but those and my earphones are popping in and out. So if you're getting audio issues with me, let me know.
You sound great to me, but we'll try to figure out what's going on with yours.
So the coaches are working directly with individual students and groups of students in the high school setting. They're working alongside them to schedule industry visits, to bring industry and business partners in to talk to those students about the career opportunities that exist in those local sectors. They're helping students consider post-secondary opportunities, consider financial aid, scholarship opportunities, resume writing, interview skills. A lot of the kind of ongoing conversations are focused on students who maybe hadn't given thought to that. We've gotten some incredible success stories from our coaches over the last 6 months where they've had conversations with maybe a student who is not a regular school attender who was talking about dropping out. So I'm not really sure what I want to do. And as the coaches started talking to the student and said, well, what's your plan beyond high school? Well, I don't really know. So what do you enjoy doing? What are you passionate about? What do you like? How do you think you'd take those skills and apply them? Did you know that there are these 1, 2, 3, 4 companies in the area that might be a good fit for you? Let's go visit with them. And so we're already seeing instances where students that were considering dropping out of school have turned around, picked up an after-school job for 4 hours a day from 3:30 to 7:30 at night or something, making $16, $18 an hour, which is
pretty good.
Really good money for a high school student.
Yeah.
You know, not even done with high school yet. But those kinds of stories are churning interest from students and communities that maybe we need to be looking at this kind of education landscape more broadly as local school districts in partnership with local community colleges and business and industry and economic developers.
That makes a lot of sense, and it feels like, I mean, I was a high schooler in the 90s, and it felt like in the 90s there was this real push that I think kind of has continued on to some degree, that if you didn't, the messaging to high school students tended to be, you've got to go to a four-year college. You've got to, getting a bachelor's degree is the only possible road to success. And there's obviously, there's a value in bachelor's degree, there's a value in master's and terminal degrees, but that's not the only pathway to a successful, fulfilling, profitable career. And sometimes you might be, more profitable going down one of those paths. But I don't know that that's always been a consistent message we've given to high school students.
I don't think it's been consistent at all. And let me be clear, we're not disparaging four-year degrees or graduate programs at all. We do recognize that there's kind of a mismatch between our number of students that pursue four-year degrees and maybe the demand for four-year degrees that exist here in the state. We have argued that any pathway that lets you continue to progress professionally and to be able to provide in an increasing way financially for your family over time is a good pathway. And so if you finish high school and you go into a 2-year program or a technical program and you go to work and you work for a few years and you like what you're doing, there may be opportunities that your business or your company will pay for you to go back and finish a bachelor's, or you can go part-time, or maybe there's some other opportunities for you down the road. But certainly it's not a one-size-fits-all proposition. And so we're trying to reframe that when we say, what's your plan for college or what's your plan after high school? That doesn't just mean where are you going to four-year university.
Right.
What are you going to do when you're done with high school? Let's help you figure that out.
I think that's great. It's a good thing that the state's making a concerted effort to do that. What else is under your purview at Accelerate?
So we've got the career coaching piece in the K-12 space, and then House Bill 1388, which passed in the 22 session, also included some language around a return on investment analysis that we've been working closely with partners on to get that done. We're taking a close look at our K-12 career tech programming as well as our community college career tech and workforce programming to see do we have galvanization between those? As a student, can I move from a K-12 program into a related post-secondary program in my region of the state? Is there a demand for that programming? Or do we have programs operating where students are moving through, but there's no career opportunities available for them coming out of those programs? And if so, why aren't we continuing to operate them? Why don't we look at, if we've got limited resources and a demand in a different sector, why don't we look at transitioning those programs over to better match industry demand and better position students for the exposure to those industries and potential success upon entry into those industries.
That makes perfect sense. And my sense is y'all have got great support from elected leadership in the state. The governor and the other elected officials are very much supportive of your mission and your objectives.
We have found when we start talking about workforce development, it is really a bipartisan support that we've got for this from the governor's office, from both sides of the legislature, and from both sides of the aisle. It's been a lot of fun to do this work and to see kind of the state as a whole rally around what we're trying to get done.
Well, it's important work. It's the sort of work that I know MEC's focused on and that everybody ought to be concerned about. We've only got about a minute left, but I'd be curious to hear. I mean, you were at the department for about a decade and were there at a really interesting time after that Education Works reform bill passed. I mean, what was that like? What have you seen over the 10 years, and what do we in K-12? What do we really need to be focused on for the next 10 years?
So, the last decade has been absolutely remarkable for us as a state. And if you hear the narrative about Mississippi being dead last, that narrative continues to be kind of articulated, but it's also articulated by us as Mississippians, and that dynamic has changed so much. When we look at our graduation rate above the national average, when we look at our national assessment scores for reading and mathematics, the improvement we've seen there, we're leading the nation. There are a lot of other states that are looking at Mississippi as an example for, like, how do we improve an education system? When the third grade reading scores came out this past spring, and they were right in line with 2019, right before the pandemic, I had this incredible hope that the work that that the state had done over the last year or over the last decade is systemic, and it's going to stick. Where I think we need to look going forward is this broad picture of how do we as a state take the learning that happens in K-12 and help students think about practically how do I apply that for the long haul in the world of work.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, it's great work that you've done and great work that Accelerate does, and appreciate your taking some time to be with us. This has been Nathan Oakley, the Deputy Director for K-12 and Innovation with Accelerate Mississippi. Thanks for being with us, Nathan.
Thanks, Lucien. Have a great day.
Always good to see an Oktibbeha County person.
Appreciate it.